So welcome to Yin Yang Yoga. I'm Tanya Roby and really happy to be with you this morning. So if you would please go ahead and find your way into a nice comfortable seated position. That might be legs crossed for you, or maybe this morning you prefer to have your legs stretched out long, or maybe you want to be kneeling or even sitting on the edge of a bolster. But come into a seat that feels like, oh yeah, I could sit here for a minute. Let yourself get comfortable. And then if you would, just take a nice deep breath into your body. Let the breath really embody you. Bring it home. With the exhale, open the mouth and let out a little sigh. And do that again. Big breath in, noticing how the in-breath expands the body. With the exhale, open the jaw, open the voice, and let out an ah sound. And do that just one more time. Landing breath. And then if you would, just bring a hand onto your heart and a hand onto your belly. Reading your body, good morning, sweetheart. And before we come into pranayama practice together, will you take a moment to just scan around and bear witness what's alive inside of you this morning? How are you feeling? Taking awareness of your physical body. Places that perhaps feel particularly strong and upright. Places that maybe are holding some tenderness or a sense of congestion or tightness. Right, and this is nothing good or bad. It's just collecting data of today in this human body. And we all know there's nothing easy about being human. What's alive in the body? And if there are areas in your body that are tender this morning, when you see them, when you feel them, will you greet them with kindness, compassion? Appreciation for being in a body that works as well as this one does. Beyond your physical body, bring your awareness now into your mind, mental body. What's the tone of your inner voice this morning? What's the pace of your thinking? And how do your thoughts make you feel? What's your mood like? And then would you connect, please, with your sense of energy body, spirit body, breath body? And as we greet the breath body, let's deepen the breath practice. If you would, exhale all your breath out and then into the bottom hand, down deep into the belly, breathe in and let the belly swell, big round Buddha belly. Imagine your hips getting wider, your low back filling up with breath. As you exhale, let the belly fall back towards the spine. When you next breathe in, again, low belly swells, let it fill. This time, take it up into the rib cage, and then all the way up to your upper hand, feel the breath bump into your collarbones. As you exhale, breath releases from the chest, down through the rib cage, and deep into low belly. As you breathe in, belly, rib cage, upper chest. As you breathe out, chest, rib cage, low belly. As you breathe in, belly, ribs, upper chest. As you breathe out, top to bottom, right? Coming into your own timing, your own spacious breath practice. Feeling not only the front body and those press points of the hands, but also your back body, your side body. And in these last couple of rounds, adding in a kumbhaka, a holding of the breath at the top and bottom of each breath. So whenever you next fill up, belly, ribs, upper chest at the top, hold it. And see if you can soften in the holding, feel that expansive container of the bones. And then notice your transition as you start the exhale, breathing out and out and out until you're empty, and then sealing that with a pause, resting into the empty vessel of the body. Noticing the intelligence of the body, those little nudges you get internally of it's time for more oxygen. And when that urge comes strong, you relax and soften and then fill up again. Top and pause, rest back into it. Beautiful. And whenever you get to the bottom of the holding of your next exhalation, surrender the doing of the breath and let your bottom hand slide up to stack your top hand, cradling the heart. And when you ask that wise, brilliant wisdom center in the center of your body, sweetheart, what am I practicing for this morning? How can I be of highest service to this body, this mind, this spirit? And let an intention for your practice bubble up from within. Really beautiful. And let's lift these intentions with the sound of Om. Take a deep breath in. Inviting your eyes to open. Allow your right leg to stretch out in front of you. I like to keep my body sitting on the edge of a small thin bolster. You might want to be sitting on the edge of a blanket or rolled up the side of your yoga mat. Sole of the left foot is in the belly of the right thigh. If you have shorter hamstrings, put a micro bend in your knee, and you might even want to slide a block under there. We're going to fold forward in just a moment here. And so take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, just hinge forward, and you'll feel that the forward fold has already started. Let the hands come down to frame that right leg. Take another breath in. And then this time, as you exhale, tuck your chin and start to round forward, melting over that right leg, any amount. Right, so these first many postures will be yin yoga, muscularly passive practice. Our first job in yin is to scan the body and look to find your body's appropriate edge. Right, that place where anything more would be too much, anything less not enough. So these first 30 seconds or so in a shape is the perfect time to try on different props, different opportunities, until you feel a nice yes in your body, a place that you can stay for 3 to 5 minutes. So for some, you might want to bring a block onto the shin bone and let your forehead rest on the block. Others might want to lay a bolster across the leg horizontal wise so elbows can rest here. Some might want to bring the left hand across the right ankle, creating a little kickstand, a little support in that subtle twist that happens here in forehead to knee pose. But take your time, find your way into the shape, and then find your way to stillness. And beyond stillness is muscular passivity. Right, undoing the habit of efforting, of reaching, and instead letting yourself really relax into the bones. Here in yin, we come to target the connective tissues, the ligaments, the tendons, the bones. And especially in the morning, yin can evoke sensations of achiness. And while potentially a little uncomfortable there, it is a rich rehydration opportunity for those tissues. Right, we do the passive yoga before the active yoga because we want to target the stuff that wraps the muscles rather than stretching into the muscles themselves. We'll get there in the second half of the class. But for here, can you let the head go a little more? Can you melt at the back of the jaw, the muscle of the tongue? Relax around your shoulders, deep into the belly. Relaxing the hips. You might even imagine that I laid a little 10-pound sandbag over your left upper thigh, and there's this relaxing into gravity, as if gravity was lassoing your left sit bone a bit deeper into the ground. And then let's play together again with 3-part breath, this time sending the breath more intentionally into left low back and hip. So if you would, exhale fully. And then focus on your low back, your left hip, and take a deep breath into low back, middle back, upper back, pause. Exhale from the shoulder girdle down through the rib cage, down through the waist, and out through that left sit bone. As you breathe in, low back, middle back, upper back, and shoulders. As you breathe out, letting it go. Do that a couple more times on your own. And if you're still working with the active breath practice, let out a big exhale. And for this last minute or so, just be breathed, witnessing the textures of the body, what stays the same, what's shifting. Beautiful. And take a final 2 or 3 nice big breaths in and out your way. Encouragement to sigh, to sound. And then in preparation for release, if you would please, hands come down to frame the leg, and we release really slowly, letting your head be the last thing to rise. Start to press into hands and gently unfurl. Starting to roll shoulders over the hips, head bobbles skyward, and pause, seated upright. Close the eyes or hood the gaze and really witness what's happening inside. And what else do you feel? What else do you notice? Really good. We're going to come into a second shape here before we do second side. If you need to stretch and release that left leg a little bit, do it, but then bring it right back to where it was. Sole of left foot in the belly of the right thigh. Then we're going to take the right leg and bend the knee, heel coming towards the buttocks. So if you're looking kind of down on your legs, we're in a bit of a Z shape. And then you're going to turn your heart towards that front left knee and lean over the left leg, bringing your hands down to frame in front of the left knee. We're going to come into a variation of sleeping swan, which is the yin variation of pigeon pose. And this is option 1, and option 2 is we'll go a bit deeper. So option 1, again, belly is kind of resting over that front left thigh, hands are out in front, and this might be your edge. Or some might come down to forearms and be here. Beautiful posture. Option 1. Option 2, if that left hip wants to go a little bit deeper, is go ahead and stretch your right leg long down the yoga mat. Bring your hands under your shoulders, lift and shift, pivot, coming into a more traditional pigeon where that left knee is just behind the front left wrist. Maybe you come down to forearms, maybe you go elbows wide and bring forehead to earth. Right, and as you choose which of those two options, a third option here for folks with issues in hips, ankles, or knees is if you want to, you can come on down to your back body and come into figure 4, left ankle laid across the right knee, hands holding back of right leg. Right, so you explore those options and you let your body choose which one would be of highest service to this body this day. Take your time finding your way in. And once you find your shape, find your stillness and invite in surrender. And as we settle a bit more into this shape, I'm going to share with you a verse from Lorin Roches' The Radiance Sutras. This is verse 12. There is a current of love energy that flows between earth below and sun above. The central channel of your spine is the riverbed. The streaming is as delicate and powerful as the tingling touch of lovers. Entering here, radiance arches between above and below. Your whole attention resting in the subtle, vibrating in the center of the spinal column, tracing this current between earth and sun. Become magnetism, relating all the worlds. So inspired by that verse, let's slide into a couple rounds of central channel breathing. We'll turn your imagination on, if you would, like a light switch, just flick it on, and there above your crown, begin to visualize this beautiful golden sun. And when you next breathe in, take a breath from that sun above your crown and draw the breath in through the crown and down that radiant central channel of yours, the energy around the spine, all the way down into your root. And when you reach your root, hold the breath for a couple of heartbeats. Imagine that golden root, that connection with sacred Earth Mama. And as you exhale, take the breath from your root back up through your central channel and feel it pour out through your heart space. As you breathe in, you drink from that sun above your head, you pull it down through your central channel, feel the radiance of the spine, reaching it deep down into your root connecting you with earth. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And as you exhale, breath releases from the pelvic floor back up through your central channel and pours out through the heart. A couple more rounds just like that, central channel breathing. Tracing the current between earth and sun. Become magnetism, relating all the worlds. Well, by and by, releasing central channel breathing, taking these last several moments to be with your body, breathing in your way, allowing the shape to work on you in all the right ways for you. And as you're ready to release, the hands will draw underneath the shoulders. You press into the ground to lift up through the chest. And then allow yourself to unravel back to seated your way. Let both legs stretch out in front. It might feel good to bring the hands behind you and let yourself rest back for a moment. Find your stillness and be the receiver. What are the feelings in the body in this moment? And can you gather and store that light energy that is you? Two more breaths. Don't miss this moment. Really good. And then if you want to windshield wiper the feet a little side to side or little movements your way, go for it. Preparing for second side, I'm bringing my little bolster back to underneath my buttocks. Maybe for you, it's a folded blanket or something else. From here, the left leg extends long out from the left hip and the right knee bends, sole of the right foot, finding its way into the belly of that left thigh. And then just pause for a moment, breathe. Really good. And you could even take that left hand and lift and shift your left sit bone back an inch or two and notice how that supports a little bit the revolution of the chest. Again, for shorter hamstring folks, put a bend in your left knee, hands come down to frame the left leg. We breathe in, drop anchor with the right sit bone, let it be so heavy. And then tuck chin and round forward. All right, and some will come just about so far and be held by the hands. Others will take their blocks and set up a castle for the forehead to rest upon. Some might enjoy a nice long bolster over the leg or horizontal to the leg for the elbows to become a resting ground. Palms together, thumbs can hold forehead. For those hinged a bit closer to the leg, maybe the right arm just lays across the left leg as a slight kickstand to support that subtle twist here. And then take a deep breath into the heart. And with the exhale, drop anchor with the right sit bone. Imagine that imaginary sandbag resting across the upper right thigh. And as you next breathe in, take your 3-part breath into the back body, breathing into right low back and hip, up through the waist, up into the upper back. Exhale from the shoulders, back down into the hips. As you breathe in, low back, middle back, upper back expands. As you breathe out, letting go from the top of you down to the base of you. Right? And can you let that be your focal point, the movement of the breath body in contrast to the stillness of the bones? Right? What is it to be muscularly passive, to still the bones and at the same time let the energy and the movement and the experience of the breath support all that beautiful flow. And in the quietude of my voice, just notice where your awareness has been resting. Are you still working with 3-part breath, or has the mind body gathered your attention? Allow the breath to bring you back home to the now moment. Scan your body again. Where else could you soften? Back of jaw, big muscle of the tongue. Something in the hands, the arms, or shoulders. About deep in the pelvic floor. Yin yoga is a practice of deep allowing. There are places here where you could surrender a little bit more. In the mind, in the body. In preparation for release, give yourself a couple big breaths in and out. Again, encouragement to sigh or sound. To release, hands come underneath shoulders. Head stays heavy and you press down to begin to roll up. Take your time. As your shoulders roll over the hips, let the chin lift a little bit and pause. Find that central still point inside and feel. Gathering and storing the gifts of that shape. Really good. 1 or 2 more breaths in the practice of receiving. And then if you need to lengthen or roll the ankle a little bit on the right side before the second posture, go for it. Take a little wiggle. And when you're ready, the sole of the right foot comes back into the belly of the left thigh and you bend the left knee, bringing the left heel towards the buttocks. And you look down and your legs look a little bit like a Z. Yeah. From here, we turn towards the right knee, lean forward and bring hands down to frame it. Okay, and so again, there's 3 options. So feel your body, listen internal, which is your yes. Is it option 1? We stay right here, hands as they are, or maybe some lowering down on the forearms, releasing through the chin. Option 2, sleeping swan or pigeon pose, hands under shoulders, left leg lengthens towards the back of the mat, tuck your toes, lift and shift, right knee behind right wrist. Left knee finds ground, and I like to use that left leg as an inchworm to come back in a way to feel into the appropriate edge in that right hip. Again, you can stay upright, you can come to forearms, you can bow elbows wide, bring forehead to stacked palms. Third and final options, if it's your body's preference, as you switch onto your back body. Bring right ankle across left knee and find your figure 4 shape. Left foot on ground or left foot floats, hands take hold of the back of that right leg, but you want head and shoulders supported and grounded. So try on the different shapes, listening for your body's yes. Bringing in whatever support might be helpful on this side, doesn't have to be the same as what you did on the other side. And then will you settle into being here? And I'll share with you a second verse from the Radiance Sutras. This one is verse 14. When you close your eyes, attention turns toward the inner glow. The heart sees by its own light, pulsing with subtle flame. In your forehead is a single eye where streams of living electricity flow together. The body of substance and the body of light fuse into one. Above your head, a star is shining, the soul luminous in its own realm. Life arises from itself in a swirling motion of flame. Being becomes body. In meditation, adore the subtle fire. In heart, head, and above, dissolve into radiance. And maybe on this side, you explore stillness, passive breathing, and presence. Or maybe you really enjoyed central channel breathing on the other side. And you want to bring your awareness back to that luminous star above the crown. And as you breathe in, you drink from that light, pull it down through your body, down through that channel, down into your root, and pause, couple heartbeats. And as you exhale, breath rises from your root back up and out through the heart. Will you take refuge in your breath, whether you're in active or passive breath practice? Good, and if you've been working with central channel breathing, take a final round and let that go. These last 30 seconds or so in the shape, are there any other places you want to lean into or release? Or would it feel good to excavate the body with a couple big breaths and audible exhales? Beautiful. This time we're going to release down onto the belly. Depending on which posture you've chosen, your release will vary. But those in sleeping swan shape or folded over that front knee, just go ahead when you're ready and bring your hands underneath your shoulders and press down to lift up. And then let yourself wiggle and worm. For some, it'll be a hinging of the hips to draw the hips back so that right leg can come free. And take your time to transition onto the belly your way. Stack the palms, elbows wide, let your head be supported by your hands, and find your stillness as quickly as you can. And then scan the body, feel for tingles, for change in heat or coolness. Let your breath mix and mingle with whatever you're feeling, pleasant or unpleasant. Keep practicing receiving, just a couple more breaths here. And then would you please take a couple big breaths, letting your belly expand into the earth, feeling your belly button reaching into the ground. With the exhale, let your back body relax into your front body. When we take a moment of appreciation for the bones, for the connective tissues, for the yin practice, and we prepare the body for something a little more active. If you would, bring your hands underneath your shoulders, please. Lift and lengthen each leg nice and long back behind you and place it right back down on the floor. Activate your glutes, press your pubic bone into the earth and hug your rib cage with your inner arms. As you next inhale, lift with the muscles around the heart, lifting the chest up off the floor. Maybe it's a fraction of an inch, maybe it's several inches. With the exhale, worm the torso back down onto the ground. We're going to do that 3 times. As you breathe in, you hug the elbows, you squeeze the glutes, you lift with the muscles around the heart, any amount. Exhale, bow it forward. And last time, riding the breath. Inhale, lift up, back muscles strong. Exhale, heart to earth. Good. Press into your palms, hinge at the hips, rise up to table. Walk your knees underneath your hips, hands underneath your shoulders, and pause. Look down at your knees, lift and step them a bit wider towards the edges of the yoga mat. Press hands, shoot those hips back towards the heels. Keep your torso lifted for a moment. Looking at the short edge of the yoga mat, walk the hands forward and away and really push the yoga mat away, getting out of your knee creases and a bit deeper into your hips. You might want to wag your tail feathers there a little bit. And then exhale, melt the heart between the thighs. Couple breaths, child's pose, forehead to earth or forehead to stacked palms. Breathe. Really good. Thank you, body. From here, press into feet, rise back up to table, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. As you breathe in, let your belly drop, lift up your heart, lift and spread your sit bones. As you exhale, tuck the pelvis under, lift from the back of the heart, push into your hands, tuck your chin. Inhale, tuck your toes under, drop the belly, lift and spread the sit bones, reach upward through the heart. Exhale, coil, lift your front body into your back body, push into the floor. Couple more like that, syncing up your movement with your breath. Can you take your whole inhale to really spread through the tail and lift through the heart? Your whole exhale to lift your belly into your back, to press the floor away. And as we come into movement, can you greet your body with kindness? With gratitude? Really good. By and by, come back to neutral spine, untuck your toes, let your hands walk forward just about 6 inches or so you're in a slightly longer table. Draw the lower abdominals in and start to draw circles now with the hips. Right, shooting the hips to the right, rocking forward a bit, hips to the left, buttocks back towards heels, and stirring the pot. And you might start to notice, and if this is too much on your knees, pause, lay a blanket across your mat so you've got a bit more padding under the knees, change direction of those circles, right? And in your circling, you're mining the body for textures, for information. And if you notice, oh, wow, there's a little something there in that left hip and you want to go forward and back a little bit, you play, right? You're the only being on this whole planet that can feel your body. So use what you feel. One more time, change direction of those circles. Really good. And then come back to neutral. Again, pull the belly and tuck your chin. Hands are still a bit in front. You push into the floor and shoot it back towards the child's pose. This time, bend your elbows deep. Imagine rolling a marble with your nose up to your fingernails. Shoulders over wrists, lengthen arms, lift up through the heart. Exhale, tuck it in, shoot it back, child's pose. New marble, bend the elbows, roll that marble towards your fingernails. Straighten the arms, lift up through your heart. Inhale. Exhale, gather it in, roll it back. Just a couple more like this, awakening through the wrist joints, the elbow joints. Continuing that movement of the spine. Good. And next time you come into table, pause there, bring the hands back under the shoulders, tuck your toes under. And this time we're going to rock forward and back. What I'd like you to explore is the contrast of when you do it without using your toes versus when you push into the pads of your toes, and notice if there's a bit more spring there, right? This is how babies learn to crawl. Your toes are amazing. Let them support you. Forward and back we go. Good. And then the next time you sling forward, push off those toes and spring that right foot forward between the hands, perhaps grabbing for your blocks. Left toes tuck, left knee inchworms back a little bit, finding your low lunge. Right heel just under the right knee, heavy dinosaur tail as the heart lifts forward. Breathing. Really good. Inhale, lengthen your right leg, peel those right toes up off the floor. Let there be a nice little bend in that right knee. Inhale, lift your heart forward, tack that right hip back. Exhale, scoop the belly and bow. Left chest towards the right knee. Peering underneath your right armpit to see your right hip crease. Breathe. Good. Inhale, lift your gaze, look forward, tuck your back toes under, left toes under, and then lengthen through your left leg. You're on the ball of the left foot, the heel of the right foot. If you need to shorten your stance, no problem. If you need to bring your blocks up to a higher setting, do it. Let the knee joint be soft as you draw that right leg bone deep into the right hip socket. Inhale, lift your heart up. Exhale, scoop the belly and bow. Really good. Release the sole of the right foot down to the ground. Back foot steps in a little bit. If you've got blocks under your hands, bring that right block out of the way. And we're going to take the right hand and swing it forward and back. Let it be soft. Let the arm really dangle from the shoulder forward and back, very close to the body. Generous with your breath. And then the next time that right hand swings towards the buttocks, lift it and drop it on your sacrum. Fingertips are pointing towards the back wall. Left hand stands on a block. You get long from your tail out through your crown. Use your hand to track your sacrum away from the crown. Big breath in. And with the exhale, we start to twist to the right. Pull the belly in, spinning towards your front leg. Hand can stay resting here on the sacrum, or some might choose to take that right hand skyward. Breathing. Allowing. Good. If right hand is skyward, let it release towards the back body, down in front, and up we go again. A couple of big circles, breathing from the wingtip of the shoulder blade in your middle back. Beautiful. Right hand comes down underneath the right shoulder. Left foot steps forward to meet the right foot, standing forward, fold with soft knees. Inhale, lift and lengthen your torso. Exhale, fold over your legs. Deep footprints, soft knees, roll to standing, take your time. Let your head be the last thing to rise. Body unfurls, inhale, hand sweep out and up to the sky. Big breath in. Exhale, come on home to your heart. Pause. Inhale, sun breath. Exhale, swan dive, fold forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, step on back to a downward facing dog. If down dog is not in your practice, stay here and forward fold for a couple more breaths. Those of you choosing downward facing dog, let those hands spread out wide like starfish hands, pressing into the perimeters of the hands, especially that webbing between your thumb and pointer finger. As you push the ground forward and away, soften your knees and pike your hips, lifting through those sit bones, as if you could plug your sit bones into the place where the wall meets your ceiling. Beautiful. Let your head fall heavy away from your tail. In fact, how does it feel to nod the head yes? Breathing. Allowing. Beautiful. One more breath here. From your downward facing dog, inhale, rise on up to your toes. Exhale, wave forward to plank pose, hold and hover. All levels flow here. One option, stay as you are. Option 2, knees to earth and sustain. Option 3, fireballs, left knee to upper left arm, step back plank. Right knee, upper right arm, step back plank. Left side, right side, left and right. One more time, each side, feel that strong center of yours. Good, knees release to earth. Elbows bend, keep your buttocks lifted. Find that back bend first. And then exhale, worm through, plug pubic bone into earth. Maybe the hand slide fraction of an inch closer downward. Elbows hug body. Inhale, lift up heart. Exhale, chest to earth. 2 more. Inhale, rise. Exhale. Last time. Good. Heart to earth. Tuck toes. Hips to heels. Tucked toed. Child's pose. Push the yoga mat away to stretch into your feet. Breathe. Really good. And then have your blocks at the ready at the top of the mat. And again, we play with those springy toes as you press forward and back. Rocking, using the toes as the power source that they are. And then when you're ready, as you spring forward, you bring that left foot forward and find your low lunge on the left-hand side. Right knee inches back and away. Heavy the pelvis, sitting right through the heart. Breathe. Feel the beautiful opening at the front of the right hip as the pelvis descends. Feel that buoyancy of the heart, the radiance of your central channel working to support you here. Good, last breath. And then with the next inhale, use your left sit bone as the leader. It lengthens the left leg as you pull that left hip back. Left toes reaching up towards the ground if you can. Now, if you've got a lot of tension in the back of the leg, you're going to need your ankle to be really neutral. But if you've got space here, play with it. Draw the toes towards the shin bone. Feel that left sit bone reaching up and away from the heel. Breathe into the space between. Bowing over the leg, peering under the armpit. Really good. Take your gaze forward, release the front foot to stand on the floor, tuck your back toes under, press through the back leg, and then rise back up onto the heel. So you're on the heel of the front foot, the ball mound of the back foot, and you breathe. Big breath in. Full breath out. And then flattening front foot to the ground, take a step in with your back foot. And then your right hand, if it's holding onto a block, let it go and let that left hand slide that block away and the left arm swings forward and back. So the arm that matches the foot that's in front. Forward and back, you want the arm close to the body and let it be really loose, as if you were trying to get dry without a towel, flicking water from those fingertips, big with the breath. Good. And whenever that hand swings back by the buttocks, lift it a little bit, let it land on the sacrum. Fingertips are pointing away. Maybe your right block goes to the second highest setting. Press into your feet, lengthen, pressing sacrum, reach your crown away from it, pull the belly in, and then let this twist keep happening. Low back, middle back, upper back as you spin your heart to the left. Left hand can stay standing on the low back, or maybe you take it skyward, spreading out wrist to wrist, breathing into this twist. Allowing for what's here, trusting your feet. One more breath. And then if that top hand is skyward, do a couple circles. Hand releases down by the hip, swings forward, up and back again. Let your breath be as big as your wingspan here. Really good. Left hand circles down underneath the left shoulder. Right foot steps forward to meet the left. This time, bend both knees, lift up through your chest, come right to your Utkatasana and find a pulse. Hands can reach out in front as option 1, or some of you might take the arms to frame your ears. Find your pulse. Honor your feet. One more breath. Good. Root to rise. Stand up. Find a back bend. Send the hips forward a little bit. Scoop the sky. Exhale. Come home to your heart and feel. Inhale, sun breath, little back bend. Exhale, soft knees, swan dive, spill forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen, partway rise. Exhale, bow to you. Deep footprints, heavy the tail, roll on up, take your time, let the vertebra stack. Good. Top of the mat, arms sweep out and up to the sky. And with the exhale, palms to the heart. Stand into your left foot, lift your right knee out in front. Hands can stay in prayer pose, hands can come to hips for support, arms can open out to T if you prefer it. Take a deep breath in. With the exhale, take a huge step back. High lunge. Inhale, thumbs go skyward and behind you. Exhale, back foot flat, warrior two. Right, and take time to find your way into the shape. Make sure you're not leaning forward, but get that right shoulder directly over the right hip. Left knee tracks wide towards pinky toe, so you can really feel the wrapping of the buttocks under the body. Feel into the very center of your heart and then reach your arms out in both directions. As you inhale, flip your palms and tip behind you. Left hand skyward, right hand down the right leg, or maybe it sweeps underneath the belly button. Exhale, extended side angle, left elbow, left thigh, or keep going, left hand under the belly button, right arm up overhead. Feel your feet stay strong. Inhale, reverse warrior, right hand down the leg or under the belly button. Exhale, extended side angle or bypass the knee, left arm under the belly button. Inhale, rise. Feel the movement at the waist, feel the breath. Exhale. One more time. Beautiful. Next time you rise up and back, reverse warrior, and then straighten through that front left leg. Breathe in. Exhale, arms to T, parallel the feet. Inhale, hands skyward. Soften the knees, bow forward, shooting the buttocks back behind as you swan dive, hands to earth. Inhale, lift and lengthen through the heart. Exhale, bow. And then let yourself shift weight from foot to foot, bending one knee and then the other, exploring the inseam of the legs. Really good. Come back to center. Inhale. Exhale, bow forward, hands towards the space between the ankles. Really good. Soft knees, roll on up. Arms sweep out and up. Exhale, come home. Good. And then turn to face the top of the mat, pivot that front left foot, and step the right foot beside the left. Inhale, sun breath, arms sweep out and up to the sky. Exhale, hands into your heart. Stand into your right foot, let your left knee rise up. Arms open out to soft T or stay in prayer, hold hips, support your balance. Inhale, bold heart. Exhale, huge step behind you, finding your high lunge. Hands can keep holding hips or hands come up to the sky. Breathe in. Exhale, back foot flat, warrior two on the right hand side. Same attention of right knee tracking towards pinky toe side of foot. You've got heel to heel or heel to arch alignment. If arms are tired, you hold the hips. If you can reach out through the fingertips, you do. Breathing fully. Flip your palms. And we ride the breath. As you breathe in, take the whole in-breath to tip back, left hand down the left leg or sweeping under the belly button. Exhale, slow motion, right elbow, right thigh, or bypass the thigh and sweep right hand underneath, left bicep beside the ear. Inhale, keep that front knee bent as you reach back and away, open your waist. Exhale, transition. Think about the energy of seaweed, right? Or willow. All of those beautiful new willows growing into the spring and the floodwaters and how they sway in the current of water. Just one more, each direction. Take your time, your breath. Good. This time as the right arm reaches back behind you, pause, lengthen through that right leg. Again, parallel the feet to face the long edges of the mat. Inhale, both hands skyward. This time stand into your toes to draw your heels in and exhale, squat, hands coming down onto the hips. Keep your knees pressing wide. And again, we pulse here. Buttocks drop straight beneath the heart. So we're not sticking the butt out behind, but dropping it straight down. Yep. Let yourself pulse. Good. Optional, adding in bellows breath. As you inhale, the hands come forward. As you exhale, it's a strong as the elbows frame the ribs. Inhale, reach. Ha, 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 hands to hips, release the breath, sink it in, last 2 beats here. Push into the feet, lengthen the legs. Parallel your feet, hands to heart and belly. Watch your inner world. What is happening now? Beautiful, last 2 breaths here. Treasure the heart, thank you, heart. And from there, will you bring your heels in yet again and start to bend through the knees coming into yoga squat. Some will be here with elbows to thighs. Some will drop the booty under the body, hands come together to prayer. Breathing. Feeling that the essence of that first sutra we read together. Your body as this conduit between the energies of earth and the energies of sky. Breathe your central channel. Conduit of light. Really good. Look beneath you, find earth in your way, maybe hands supporting, bring buttocks down, soles of feet together, knees are open wide, hands hold on to the ankles, walk your buttocks towards your heels, inhale, lift your heart up. Exhale, bowing over these legs. Thank you, body. Really good. Releasing, coming back up to seated. Separate your feet to the edges of the mat. Hands come behind you. And just nice and easy side to side with the knees. And coming back to center, lowering your body down onto the back. Gather your knees in towards your chest. Give your body a nice big hug. Letting yourself rock a little side to side across the sacrum. And then spread your knees super wide, elbows inside the knees, hands rest on the top of the ankles. Variation 1 of happy baby shape. Or maybe you lift those heels over the knees, taking hold of yogi toe lock or the outer edges of the feet or the ankles or the backs of your thighs. Let your head, your shoulder girdle, and your sacrum be so heavy on the floor. And take a couple more breaths up and down your central channel. Celebrating the body, offering up your thanks, perhaps inviting your intention to gong through your bones now. Good. From here, our next shape is Shavasana, final resting pose. Releasing your happy baby to take up space across your yoga mat. Of course, if body is asking for a final touch of something, listen to body, respond. And then can you invite yourself with the same kind of kindness and attention into your final resting pose, taking up lots of space on your yoga mat. If you feel any sense of coolness, cozy up with socks, blankets, sweatshirts. I love the feeling of bolster under my knees. Some might enjoy a scarf laid across the eyes for a little more darkness. Let yourself land. And then watch and pay attention to the ripple. Body finding rest, feeling for the residual tingle, the afterglow of your practice. Using your choice, your will to become the receiver of the gifts. Nothing to do but receive, receive, receive. All this light that is you. Shavasana. Gently become aware of your body once again. Feel the body glove and then notice, where do you feel your breath? Is it at the tip of your nose, or are you more aware of it in your chest, your belly? Well, greet the breath. Thank you, body, for breathing me. And when you're ready, start to deepen and widen your breath through the landscape of the bones. Noticing, oh, I expand as I breathe in. Come back to the bones with every exhale. And let it be a gentle reawakening, breath by breath. Appreciating the body. Meeting your hands, your feet again, as if it was for the first time. Breathing into the wrists, allowing movement. Celebrating the fingers. Breathing into the ankles, finding movement. Celebrating the toes. Breath by breath, your way. Maybe there's a big stretch or yawn or sound. Eventually the knees draw in and you give your body a hug. You deserve it. Compliment yourself. Celebrate you. There's a lot of ways you could have started your morning. Thank you for choosing your practice. When you're ready, roll to one side and take a moment there in fetal pose. And eventually pressing hands to find your way back up to seated meditation. Take your time. And as you come to find your seat, bring the support under your base that nourishes you. Plug your sit bones into earth, connect downward. And from those roots, grow tall. Take the breath up through your central channel, plug your crown into the sun. And breathe your body as a conduit. And notice as you breathe in this way, what's alive in you now? How do you feel, sweetheart? Physical body, mental, emotional body, sense of spirit. Hands gathering over the heart or heart and belly, your way of connection with higher self. And it's from a place of deep gratitude now we ask that the blessings and the merits of this practice ripple through us and expand beyond us, reaching into all beings everywhere without exception. May all beings know happiness and the root of happiness. And may all beings be free of suffering and the root of suffering. Sealing practice with an Om, deep breath in. Jabagwan. Namaste. Thank you, thank you, thank you.